Hey gang, welcome back. Here we are doing the 5 W's. Who, what, where, when, and why. We'll throw a little bit of how in there later on. Let's start with who. So who am I? My name is Lori. I am 51 years old. I am first and foremost a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. The universe gifted me 3 amazing children and 5 grandchildren. And you'll see their pictures somewhere in this video. I have been a RE/MAX realtor for 23 years. And in those 23 years, I have participated in what's called the Miracle Home Program, which means that for every transaction that I do, whether people are buying or selling, I donate a portion of my commissions to the Children's Miracle Network, which in this case is CHEO. So for 23 years, I have been what I call a couch potato giver, which nothing wrong with that. Absolutely happy to do it. And then for everybody else that was doing something incredible for the Children's Miracle Network or for CHEO, I always donated. I forgot a huge part of the who, and that is who's coming with me. So Dan is my husband. His trail name is Sidekick. We'll get into the trail names in another video, but Sidekick is coming along for the ride. Let's move on to what. Okay, so now we're on to what. What am I doing? Well, I am going to be walking, hiking, panting for 150 kilometers in northern New Brunswick. What's it for? Well, it's for the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, CHEO. It's a place I spent a lot of time in. It's a place my kids spent some time in. And it's a place, fortunately, that my grandchildren haven't had to spend a lot of time in. But here's the thing. CHEO is in a crunch. We don't have enough family doctors. So when the kids get sick, we all go to an emergency room. And they are overstretched, overtaxed, exhausted. And no, there aren't enough resources. And no, there aren't enough machines. And no, there aren't enough doctors and nurses and technicians and researchers and all of the things that we love to know that we have, but they take fundraising to get. And just coming out the other side, hopefully, of a pandemic, CHEO's needs are bigger than ever. So that is the what. It's a fundraiser for CHEO, for the people, for the heroes, for the amazing kids who fight, the parents who support, the nurses who care, the doctors who perform, the technicians, the porters, everybody, the cafeteria people, the janitorial staff or maintenance staff, everybody, the volunteers. Like, there's hundreds of volunteers at CHEO. There are people who walk through those doors to help kids every single day. What I'm doing is a drop in the bucket. So that's the what. All right, now we're back for the where. Where is in the Bathurst, New Brunswick area, northern New Brunswick. And it's about a 150 kilometer stretch between Mount Carleton Provincial Park and Bathurst, New Brunswick. It is called the Sentier Nipisiguit Mi'kmaq Trail. And last year it was in National Geographic as one of the top trails to what they call through hike. A through hike is an end-to-end hike. You're hiking from one point to another through the trail. So no looping. There will be a little bit bigger video on the trail and hopefully I'll have some pictures to show you of the trail and the Nipisiguit River. So that is the where. And when is all this happening, you ask? Well, we are leaving for New Brunswick on September 3rd. So we'll try and do some videoing on the way down. And then we start the hike on September 6th. We're going to start at the Mount Carlton end of things and walk back to Bathurst, because I want to walk back probably into a big shower, because I know from experience we're going to be very smelly. Yeah, so that's the when. The hard part about the when for this one is that there's no service on the trail. So I won't be able to upload daily updates for the hike, but I think we're coming up with a plan for that. So hang tight and follow along, and we'll be able to outline how we're going to accomplish that. That's part of the how, and then part of the plan. I got a lot of videos coming. Make sure to subscribe. Oh, how long, right? So that's part of the when. We're looking at doing somewhere between 10 and 15 kilometers a day. So the hike should take us 10 to 14 days. We're being responsible and careful so far. Okay. This is the moment I've been dreading putting on camera. And that's because I have to tell you my why. And there's a lot of levels to my why. So bear with me, and yeah, we're gonna need that. Okay. All right. So, my why. You already know I was gifted 3 fantastic kids. So, there's some CHEO time spent there. Okay. Stop beating around the bush. Okay. So, in 2020, the year I was to turn 50, I was diagnosed with early stage breast cancer. I am an extremely lucky human being. So I kind of dove right into that. If any of you followed that on Facebook, I posted, the minute I was told, I had thunderstruck running in my head, like, okay, let's go, let's do this, let's fight. And the journey in treatment in COVID was interesting and not easy, because my husband couldn't come with me. I did everything alone. I did everything without seeing another human being's face. And that was hard. In June of 2020, I got to the point where I was doing the radiation treatment. And my radiation treatment was 15 treatments. So 5 days a week, 2 days off, every day. And I was still upbeat when I got there. Like, I'd had the surgery, they removed the lump, the scar had healed really well. And when they get you ready for radiation, they make you lie super still. And then they mark where the machine needs to be on your body in order to give you the treatment. So I have 6, I don't know, I don't look at my body all that much, but 5 or 6 little dots. They look like periods, like the end of a sentence, on my chest and on my side. And I remember the young man, the technician who did the tattooing. I asked him if he was a creative kind of guy and what kind of symbols we could use. And he looked at me straight in the face. He said, you know what? I'm really good at dots. So there's a lot of laughter in treatment. But then radiation started, and I was good for a week. And then in the second week, I started to feel rough and tired and dizzy. And up into the third week of radiation, like I was working full time, all the time. And then the third week of radiation, it hit me hard. I had vertigo. It was all I could do to get myself down the hallway, check in, change into the gown, sit there in my mask. And it was about, it was the middle of that week, I want to say like the Wednesday. And I'm sitting there in the gown with my mask, and my head is in my hands, and I'm thinking, oh my God, why me? What? Like, this is ridiculous, and I don't want to hurt anymore, and I've had enough. And I heard what I hadn't heard at all in radiation up to this point was like a big hospital bed, like you hear the wheels down the hallway. And I looked up because the hospital was basically shut down unless you required treatment. And this was the Ottawa General Campus. So I look up and I'm thinking, wow, somebody's in rough shape. And the bed came into view. Sorry, this is going to be hard. I have not told this without crying ever. On the bed was an amazing guy. He couldn't have been more than 4, maybe 5 at the outside. He didn't have any hair. And he was sitting up in the bed. And he looked tired. He was fighting. And it didn't look like a very good fight at all. And then walking right behind the bed was his mom. Sorry. His mom. The look on her face. I mean, this part of her face is smiling for her child. You know, okay, we're going to get this done. And she's carrying books and toys, and the bed has toys on it. And she's doing everything humanly possible to support her child. But here in this section, you could see the worry and the fear. And they rolled past me. And I had 2 thoughts at almost the same time. Thought number 1, your fight is nothing, honey. That is courage. On 2 people's parts, on little hero and big hero, right? Second thought, what the hell are they doing in the general? Sorry for the language. Why aren't they at CHEO? And I remember asking when I met with the lovely lady in charge of the CHEO Foundation, my contact. And she said, well, we probably just didn't have the machinery available for him that day. And anyway, so I knew Chio was probably overstretched and they just sort of wheeled him through into the general, and he was going to get his treatment there. And thank God for that. But watching that happen, thinking of my own kids and my own grandkids and some of my colleagues' kids that have been through Chio, it broke me in a way I can't begin to explain to you. I started to cry. And I'm not talking what I'm doing right now, where I can control it a little bit. I am talking, my shoulders were shaking. I was taking big heaving gulps of air. I was sobbing out loud. I was shaking. My nose was running. There were boogers everywhere. I couldn't stop it if I tried. I was so moved by that little man. And he's just one little man. I know that there are heroes that go through Chio every single day. I know there are fighters in Chio every single day. I know there are superhuman beings taking care of those kids every single day. I had it tough for 3 weeks. That was nothing. The kids are fighting big battles, small battles, sprained ankle battles. And Chio is there to help them every step of the way. But they are hurting. There's no question. There's not enough. There's never enough. And they rely on fundraisers like this to help. So here I am. When I finished my treatment, my gift to myself, to my body, was to put it under stress again, was to go do something to alternately relax it, challenge it, but to calm my mind. My mind had been pretty busy in 2020. So Sidekick and myself went to Algonquin Park for 7 days. And it was exactly the miracle I needed. So we were sitting at the campsite, probably the 4th day in, because of course the first 2 days I couldn't move. My muscles were so sore. I thought about turning back. I was not in shape. I spent 30 years on a couch, in an office, in a car. I had no business being out there in the shape that I was in. But I'll be darned if I wasn't going to finish. And I think it was maybe the 5th day that this idea started. And I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to walk. I'm going to hike for the kids. I can do that. I can walk. So, here I am. And that is why. Welcome to the gear locker. So, this is where the how comes into play. How is everything from boots to backpacks to stoves. But I will be doing some gear list videos so that you can see exactly what we're going to take on our backs to live with for 10 to 14 days. So this is the how. The how is basically, how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to do it on our own 2 feet, but we're going to do it with some gear so that we can eat, sleep, and be in a shelter. So stay tuned and we will go through all of that in some upcoming videos. So please follow along. We would love to hear from you too. So if you have any questions, I would love to answer them. So please follow along on Instagram and TikTok at Canadian Bacon Hikes. And then if you search for Canadian Bacon in YouTube, you will somehow come across the channel. So between those three places, you should be finding everything. But we would love to hear from you, your stories. If you work at CHEO, if you've been to CHEO, this is not about me. This is about CHEO, really. So I look forward to hearing from everybody. And yeah, boy, it's gonna be fun getting into those. There's a lot of stuff. Okay, so we'll catch you on the next Hiking for Miracles video. Thanks, everybody.